Welcome to My Apple Zone, and this is Apple News Weekly for November 21st, 2010. Apologize for taking so long to get this video out to you guys, but we got hit with a major snowstorm last night and this morning, so check that out. So the big news this week, or the bad news this week, is that Apple released iOS 4.21 Gold Master to developers on Thursday. Apparently there were additional bugs found in the second release of the Gold Master. If you remember, the first release had a Wi-Fi bug with the iPad. Apple released a second Gold Master last week, and this week developers found more bugs, and so a third Gold Master has been released. Apple usually gives developers 2 weeks to play around with the Gold Master, so that means we probably won't see iOS 4.2 until the first week in December. Maybe a miracle will happen and it'll come out late next week, but all indications are pointing to the first week in December. And again, when iOS 4.2 comes out, I'll be doing a complete review for both the iPad and the iPhone. So bad news this week for iOS 4.2. In other news this week, Apple updated Boot Camp and issued a firmware update for the MacBook. The Boot Camp update includes drivers for the ATI Radeon 5870 graphics card and for Apple USB Ethernet adapter, and driver support for the MacBook Air SuperDrive. So if you're using a MacBook or a MacBook Air and you're using Boot Camp, probably ought to update to the new version of Boot Camp. And the firmware update for the MacBook and the 13-inch MacBook Pro fixes an issue where external displays connected to these models could suffer from a purple hue. So the links to those updates are in the description. Other news this week with Apple: Apple released Safari 5.03 for OS 10.6 and 10.5, and Safari 4.13 for OS 10.4. So if you're using Safari, the update is in the description. The update enhances features and fixes a bunch of bugs and patches a number of security vulnerabilities. So again, if you're using Safari, I would suggest updating to the new versions. Other news this week: Google has finally released Google Voice for the iPhone. It brings most of the Google Voice features to the iPhone, including free text messaging, voicemail transcription, and cheap international calls. In addition, the app does push notifications that can alert you when you have a new text message or voicemail. So Google Voice is finally available for the iPhone. It's in the App Store. Google Voice is great. If you've never used it, check it out. Link is in the description. That's all the Apple news this week. Not a lot of news to report. Again, hopefully iOS 4.2 will come out in the next week or so, and I'll be doing a complete review of that. If you guys liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out, helps build the community. If you have any questions about any of these stories, just leave a comment below, or send an email to myapplezone@gmail.com. And I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Stop by next week for the next issue of Apple News Weekly. And until then, I'll talk to you later.